our food, our decisions every day,
He
our
asked you
biases
directly.
change.
But yeah, the difference is I can tell you all about myself, but you and your choices have victims, right?
Yeah.
Which are being oppressed, put in the gas chamber,
Oh my gosh, these guys
castrated,
are something
have the
special.
testicles removed, like through really
Okay, how
fucked up way.
about I
Rip.
gear my
Wait,
bias
wait,
towards your
wait.
stance? Let's say I
These
Yeah,
people are like talking over each other so much, and they're just
but
like,
you changing your
oh my
mind. I want to
gosh.
know how you justify castrating individuals for your pleasure.
These vegans can't come up with good argument points.
okay,
How do you justify that?
let's say my goal is to make a lot of money, and I own a pig factory. And in the pig
Wait, is
factory, I
this
don't care how bad they are treated, and they are,
is this
let's
your
say,
actual goal?
castrated. Let's say
Is
that
this your
no, 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 no,
So
no.
what is
Everything.
your goal? Like we can talk about
Why
hypotheticals
are you
all
getting
like we can
defensive? Number one,
bro,
and
hold
two.
on. We can circle jerk each other for all I care. I don't care about all of
Bruh.
these hypotheticals. I'm trying to
Your
ask
points,
you right
your core
now,
idea.
as in the individual, what's your justification for castrating animals with your money?
Over him and muting him.
Because he's not addressing this. He's just like circle jerking.
He was trying to answer your question and you
No, Maku. He
I'm
said
trying to
tell
answer
you.
you in
hypothetically.
a calm way to develop the point, but
He keeps just
I'll
muting
let you speak.
everybody.
I'll let you speak. He said, hypothetically speaking, if I introduce an individual to Maku, I don't care about what he would do in a fantasy lab. I care about why is he exploiting animals today, as in the individual they are.
You
I
guys.
don't
Hiyu,
see how your point could be selfish.
Hiyu, you literally
What?
put individuals in a gas chamber. What's your defense?
This is like the dumbest thing ever. They've been doing hypotheticals all day, but then they don't want like the meat
If
people
I
to
put
So
a pig in a gas
have
chamber, I develop
hypothetical
the most.
situations, yet they
you
want to throw
pay
them
to
left
put
and right.
individuals in a gas chamber. What's your defense?
Oh, I haven't slept at all
No, I
last
pay
night,
for a
man.
piece of meat, and if
Jeez.
that is their effective way of cutting costs, then I pay for my food like that.
Would
But
you
then
But
it
if
say,
you
costs
know
my
that
wait,
you're
wait,
job.
wait,
paying for
wait,
that.
Let's say
amazing,
it gets to a
amazing,
chemical.
wait, Hiyu, would you pay for people to
All right,
rape
finish your
children
point. I
if
want
you
some
if you
help.
could wagyu steak cheaper?
Say it again. Sorry.
What Hiyu, would you pay an industry? Let's say a steak literally costs 1 cent, right?
Yes,
But
one
people
cent.
have to, yeah, but people have to rape children for that to happen. Would you
That's
pay?
another hypothetical, and you told him not to do hypotheticals.
So then your basis is broken.
Hold on,
One is
hold on.
relevant.
This is very relevant to why they're abusing animals, right?
So you're
Hiyu,
trying
you said,
to
Do
you're
this
trying to
hypothetical, then you do that hypothetical.
you're trying to
See, now he has to
I'm
mute
just
everybody because he
I'm just
has
trying
nothing to do.
Can I
I'm just trying to get to a certain point because he only
okay,
cares
okay.
about
Wait, I'm
pleasure.
sorry. Okay, then I'm sorry, but what was your point? So you said about the raping of children.
Yeah, you
Like,
said
this
you
is the
only care
craziest
about
stuff
the
ever,
pleasure you
man.
get. You don't care about what happens to,
Uh,
or like
I did not.
for the product of the meat. You only
And
care about the meat, right?
sorry to cut in, but I said clearly that it depends on the goals for each individual. I said right now, entering this conversation, I have no bias in the beginning,
Okay,
correct?
you.
And I said that if you were to talk about the pleasure point, there would be a certain path you could take in that. If you're talking about purely for human life, that's that. If you're
Yeah,
talking for just to be alive, there's also
you.
that.
You. We don't need meat to be alive, right? We can live without meat. And you
Okay.
said you don't care about what happens to the animal. You only care about the end product, right?
No.
Okay, what
These
did you
guys
say?
are something
So I
special, I
said I pay
swear.
for meat, period. And what does that
Yeah,
mean? I pay for a product. But
do you care
if
about what
something
happens?
happens to the product to make it a lower quality product, I'm not paying for that. And this is
But
where I help you in your argument, right? Let's say
but
I'm
hold on.
buying a pork chop, but they gassed the shit out of that pig before it dies. There's a chance there's maybe 5% of some chemical in that pig. What does it
You.
mean? I can ingest that
No,
chemical.
Wait, you.
So if you're talking about,
Wait,
let's
he's not
say,
you.
a
Hello,
educated.
pig is
hello,
killed,
hello, you,
let's say, okay,
you,
no, I'm
you.
helping your point, but yeah,
No, no, you're not. You know, you're not.
I had to
I
mute
want to
so
get
he
to
wouldn't hear
here.
whatever I was
Let's
saying.
say
I was gonna say some
your
crazy stuff,
wagyu
probably.
beef tastes like actual crack cocaine, but
okay.
for that to happen, you have to like literally sexually assault humans in the process. Would you be in favor of that?
Like, there's more hypotheticals.
Why?
Because I wouldn't be paying for drug cocaine wagyu.
That's
Probably
not
wouldn't taste
drug.
good.
It's not a drug cocaine.
That was a
I'm just.
mishypothetical.
You
Now
missed
we're
the
taking it
time.
off of the original point. Let's say I want to buy pork
Wait,
chop. That's it.
And
here.
all they do is just
I don't
keep
want to pay for
interrupting
the
everybody.
killer
They keep coming up with
meat
the
inside.
wildest random things that don't
The
make any
important
sense
thing
at
is,
all.
Maku, it's not.
I
There's
mean, what are
no
they even
drugs,
trying
but
to
it's like the
argue at this
best
point?
meat, and it's the if
They don't
you
even know the
knew what
definition
a
of a
vegan was,
vegan, and they claim to be
but
vegan.
part of that is to sexually assault children, would you be okay
There
with
would
that?
be no part in that that would
I mean,
involve
these people are
fish.
just
I
Try to find an
wait.
blind,
example. I'm not trying
clueless.
to put you down. I'm just saying,
Can
try to
you
find an example that would be relevant
engage with the
to
question, or you
harvesting a
cannot?
Like,
typology.
look at this guy. He's just so
Okay, so
annoying. He's
fine.
interrupting every time someone tries to talk, and anytime someone else tries to catch him
This
on
is such an
something, he
obvious question.
mutes them, and
No,
it's
no, no. But the yes or
like
no questions
they have nothing they
don't
can come
answer
up with.
anything, really.
They do
They do answer
answer.
everything because
Yes,
it's pointing out
yes.
their
No, they don't.
argument.
Have you guys
They're
taken debate
arguing.
club in like high school or college? It doesn't add to grounds. I'm not
It doesn't
against your
Yeah, I
really.
think
point. I
there's
want
a
to
Everything
agree with
depends
your
maturity
on
issue.
point.
something.
It doesn't. No, it really doesn't.
Wait,
The
I want
argument
to
is
agree with you, man.
the vegans are arguing from a harm reduction principle. They've extended that to animals. So their objection is to reduce as much harm as possible. They are trying to
Okay,
figure out
and I
what
agree. That
your
would make sense.
yes,
Have you
but
seen the
they're
fish in
trying
Japan?
what they're
When
trying to
fish
do.
die bad, there's more stress hormones in fish,
wait.
which
At
makes
least
it
Yes,
grow
but
wait.
faster and
they're not for
faster.
fish. Don't argue against things that
Yeah,
people don't believe in.
I think
So
you just
they don't believe you should eat fish either. What we're trying to do is figure out what your objective or subjective principles are. What is your epistemology? Theirs is harm reduction. Obviously, mine is based on an objective religious standard. Theirs is based on a subjective harm principle. That's why those two can go together. What is your epistemology is what we're trying to ask.
I don't know a bunch of fancy words, but what I do want
They're not
is
fancy work.
no, no, but I want no, but I'll say it. You asked for it. I'll say it. I want maximum efficiency for the economy, for the world, and for morality. I would want free
Well,
food,
see, that's why we're asking hypotheticals
free
because what
food
you
that
just said
maximizes on
interferes.
every nutritional point. That's
I couldn't I do
energetically optimal for the entire civilization as a whole to grow.
Okay, so
so
yeah, and when Solo
then
said
your points are easily
epistemology, that
defeated
was
I don't
because
care about
you can
anything
do
else. I just want it to be good for the entire humanity.
can I
okay.
do
Let's
something that's
vegan
good
and
for the
grow.
economy but bad for morality?
And what is an example of that?
child slavery.
I yeah, chattel slavery. I decided, hey, I figured it out. We got a new efficient way to produce goods and services at a cheaper price. I'm just gonna have to go to China and sell it. Would that be
Okay,
okay?
let me ask you this, right?
That
So
is
the human
crazy.
hand
It's not even
can make
Wait,
addressing.
answer
Dude,
then beer.
no and yes.
we're not.
Answer then
These
not.
aren't.
There's
We're
arguments
not.
for
Hey,
both.
I get what you're on the defensive. We're not asking this because we're trying to do gotcha questions. It's because
Eh,
you made a
I kind of
statement that you
am.
want what's best for morality and the economy. So
Yeah.
then
I'm
what we
trying to
have to
get a
do
lot
is
of
say
gotcha
what's the.
questions. These vegans don't know what
Everybody
they're
here is
talking about,
arguing from a
man.
moral standpoint. Nobody's here like
You
I'm
should hear
actually
them.
arguing against immorality. I'm for immorality. Everybody's for morality. Our arguments are where does our morality come from and what are our moral principles? Do you
What?
get that?
Then we're only fighting
We're
for
trying
whose
to figure out
morality
where
to
morality
finish
comes from
stronger,
and
which
what our
doesn't make
moral.
sense. Why don't we
We're
just
trying
fix
to
the
figure.
problem?
Everybody has different moral principles.
Yes, and
Do you
that doesn't
agree?
matter because
It does matter.
we just fix the problem,
That's
it
the whole
goes
point of
away.
debate.
well, no,
It's
I
the
mean,
No,
entire
no, no,
okay,
point of
no.
debate.
I don't understand your point. That it doesn't make sense.
The
Can you
They
whole
are
please repeat
arguing
it?
from a
conversation.
Can
moral
you please
The
okay,
repeat
whole
it?
if we
the whole
Let
conversation
me
have a
finish.
here.
I didn't
discussion.
understand it.
Wait, the whole conversation here is to understand your ethics. Because if you keep moving from left to right when asking, do you think this is ethical? Then we're not gonna go anywhere, and you're just monologuing.
This
We
guy
we
right
actually
here
want
is
to have a
muting
conversation with
everybody
you.
anytime they try to
If you keep
talk
if you
or
keep
make a point.
avoiding
And
simple yes or no
honestly, just
questions,
look at him,
then we're just
man.
gonna go to
He's
someone else.
interrupting everybody
I actually
too.
want to have a conversation with you
Yeah, and
about
I
your
do
own
want to have a
ethics.
conversation as well, but it's
But
not. It's more of just a
if if you
pigeonholing of
if
answers.
You're not having a
No,
conversation.
it's
You
because
need
we
to
don't
let.
understand what
You're
you
trying to
believe,
This
pigeonhole
is
an
and
answer.
chaos.
the only way we can gain an understanding of what you believe in is by asking you questions.
Come in, Lauren. Your
we're
dad
just
left
gonna
for
do
the
this one more
milk.
time. We're gonna
I'm
ask you
assuming
some
it's your name.
questions
I don't know. I
again.
can't see the whole
Just
thing.
not. We're not trying to trap you
And
in the
make it
corner.
simple and
But
don't make it. Oh, let's say
but
the table
wait,
causes
hey
10
you, hey
children
you,
somewhere in the
hey
world
you.
to die.
Hello,
Yes or
hello.
no?
Like, listen to
I'm
this
just gonna
guy.
say like if we can't really go anywhere, I'm gonna ask like another non-vegan to have a conversation with us because
Yeah,
this
no
is
problem.
okay.
You won't
Here,
listen
Because
to
I'm
which
not
one?
agreeing with
I don't
all
get
of
it,
it.
Which
man.
one do you? Which one
Well,
is more
who
preferable for you,
knows?
the economy or the ethics?
Both.
If you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
It's not possible to pick one because they have
Okay,
Yeah,
most
it's I
relevance
choose
to me.
ethics.
If you would
wait.
want to ask me black and white questions, make them better, please.
Here,
We just did with the chattel slavery question. That's how we
Okay.
figured out your preferences
Hold
in the
on.
economy of
I'll make
morality.
it super easy. Okay, I'll make it super easy. I can literally strangle my child to death and get $1 million.
What?
Which one is more preferable in your position?
Why would you strangle your child?
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
No,
No.
and that's
Okay.
Can I,
Okay,
wait,
guys. We're just gonna
wait.
Oh, bro, this guy's arguments are crazy.
because
Right,
Mr.
right.
Beast, because Mr. Beast said that he will give him $1 million if he strangles his child.
Hypothetics.
Try to wait,
Can I
guys,
try?
Silver, I think like even
Hypothetics
those
again,
simple
man.
questions cannot be answered. Let's move on to another non-vegan. Because look at how many people we
He
have, right?
continued
Wait,
when he was trying to answer.
can I give a simple, like, can I give it one last attempt? Can you
Go
unmute
ahead.
them? Can you? Yeah, okay. Look, I want to have a fresh start, right? I want to try again. I've been listening a lot. I don't have an issue if you want to throw hypotheticals to me as well, right? Huibi or Maku, who wants to talk to me?
I'll mind.
I wanna
It's just
ask.
I want to come to a common point where we both agree at, and that's all I want.
Okay, I agree, absolutely, right? Let's reach some consensus, right? I think one easy point of consensus is because you said you want to.
I have something I want to throw at these guys. I'm not sure how they're going to try to deflect it, but I feel like it's going to be kind of crazy.
Like, it is massively much more efficient for the world to head towards a more plant-based food system, right? I think there's no question about that. Not just from like an environmental point of view, but from like a resource point of view as well, right?
I agree.
Have they referenced me at all in their
So
chat?
that's
I
one side.
disagree
Why?
with that statement, to be honest.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. You know what? I think
Wait,
I don't mind
let's
going
ask
into it.
why do you not agree?
Yeah, Mike. I'd love to hear why. I don't mind going
With
diverging a
plant-based
bit.
being
Say
more
anything you want.
efficient.
Say it again.
With
Yeah, it is
plant-based
more.
being more efficient. I don't agree that
Yeah.
plant-based food is more efficient.
Sure, and
It
why do
is
you
more, as a meat eater, it is more efficient. Most of our food is for us to feed the animals.
Well, I don't eat grass, and like we have fields of grass in Scotland.
Solo?
Wait, well,
Solo,
wait,
then
let's
we-
imagine you just have two species from you and they're the exact same, but one on like some whatever reason is plant-based, right?
It's
Well,
literally
then you
made
would
out
of
of grass.
course
No,
choose
yeah, I
whatever.
respect
And
that.
then if you're talking about the efficiency, imagine a vertical farming, which is a thing. You have hydroponics, you have all these things. It's more efficient having
if there's a
free range
question
of
directed
cows.
to if there's a question directed to vegan and let me answer it, I appreciate Solo as well. But let's just keep it one vegan, one non-vegan, and let's try to keep the conversation one at a time, right? Now, Mocha, you said if there was grass, there isn't, like we can't really utilize it, right? Now, I get that point. This is why we went to animal agriculture in the first place, right? There was like back in the day, we couldn't just make use of land. We couldn't always grow crops everywhere, and that's why we'd have these grazers. We have these goats and like cows, and we'd have nomads making them like eat the grass through pastures that
No, we
we
were
couldn't farm on.
hunter-gatherers, and then we just contained the animals.
Well, it was a slow process. We were hunter gatherers. We were mostly gatherers. Then we went into
These guys
crop
are just
farming. Then we
something.
went into livestock farming. Either way, the point is that land where we can't grow crops anymore. That grass, that is a fraction of the land that we use, right? Most of the arable land, which means land that we can grow crops for, that cropland, most of that cropland we feed that to the animals, to the livestock, right? We use the crops that we grow and we give it to these animals as supplementary feed and grain. Even if they're like grass fed, like you have to understand a cow eats a huge amount of like calories, right? Look, like this is if you're watching my stream right now, you can see as well. Most of the crop we use most of the land we use goes to like livestock animals, right? Beef,
Yeah,
lamb, cheese.
even more than that. So, like, a lot of grasslands are also own arable land.
Exactly.
This is geographically relevant though, because this is different in different places.
Yeah,
So
especially in
different-
Ireland. In Ireland, most of the grasslands are arable land that you can go grow crops on.
They live in Scotland.
So
Oh,
what I'm
cool.
saying is that
Me too.
even if there are some lands that we can't grow crops on, most of the land that we grow crops for are animals, right? Livestock animals aren't always fed if we were just to feed livestock animals on just grass fed, we would already have just significantly less, right? We'd have significantly less animals. most factory farmed animals, they're being fed feed and grain that we grow. Even wild animals like free range, where they're finished with like soy or another type of food. So if we were to stop having livestock animals, we would be freeing up land.
I'm watching this guy's live stream. He's like staring so intently as he's trying to type to me.
I don't really agree with it if I'm being brutally honest. Like,
Oh my
So what do you
gosh.
not understand?
it's not what I don't understand, it's just I don't agree with it. Like, I literally see land out here and I see like loads of vegetables being grown. I see loads of like different things being grown. And even the land that you're talking about, like, that land is all stuff that is providing, it's
So
taking
this
in
guy
CO2.
thinks animals
Like,
eating
there's
other
been
animals
proof
is
done
immoral.
that grass-fed cows, like, they're CO2 neutral.
So I've
Whoa,
heard about this.
can
Yeah,
you
this
provide
is
evidence for that claim?
Sure,
wait,
I'll
wait,
find
so
it.
wait. This
They
is
give up
no. We're not gonna
methane,
do that.
not
This is a
CO2.
tangent, right? This is the point about if what's it called? Livestock farming can be sustainable, right? You're talking about regenerative farming, right? Our point was about is it more efficient to be plant-based or not, right? Now, even if I was to grant you the fact that it was sustainable, it was carbon neutral, it still isn't scalable. Just because of how, like, do you know what trophic system is? Do you know what trophic levels are?
Sorry, I was busy typing things and muting myself at the same time. I don't know. No, sorry.
That's alright. So even if like regenerative farming was legit, it was carbon neutral, it still isn't scalable, right? Going back to the original point, is it more efficient? It's not, right? Because of trophic levels, because of energy transfer. Anytime there is energy transfer, right? As you go up the triangle, there's energy transfer. Every time there's energy transfer, energy is lost, right? So right now, livestock animals are being somewhere in the middle, right? We make the crop, we feed them the crop, and then we eat it. Right? But if we were to directly eat the crop, we wouldn't have
Yeah, I know
energy
this is a
changes.
food pyramid. I don't know how it's called that.
Yeah, so the point is, if we eat directly, we would be saving massively on land, water, and just other resources as well, right? There have been enough studies to show this is scientific consensus, right, that it's more efficient for the world to be plant-based in terms of resources.
Do you just want to get rid of all those animals that exist there?
That's not what I'm not getting there right now. That is my main point, right? And we were like, I was talking to QB and we were agreeing that it's more resources, right? I'm just trying to get that point across. You disagreed there. That's the one point I want to get across, and then I'll ask you another one.
Wait, then yeah, okay, I agree with your point now, but then you
Yeah,
guys had
and
a good
Matthew,
point. What happens to all
yeah,
the hundreds of millions of
I'll get to that. Absolutely. No, yeah, I'll get to that. But Matthew, do you now understand that it's more efficient for the world to be plant-based?
No, I don't
There
agree with
like
that.
a article or something that you're referring to when you're that it's going to be more. Is there something I can read about this efficiency that comes from
Oh
going
yeah,
vegan? Do you have
yeah. So
something I can read right now while I'm listening? Because I'm reading about some
absolutely,
other
yeah.
stuff because I want to bring up some stuff, and I have a couple hypothetical questions that I would love to
Yeah,
ask y'all.
I'll put it. I'll put it. So this one is just like land use. In the chat.
I'm putting a link as well for you to read. This is from Yale. Something to read.
Either way,
Yeah,
okay.
but
So
this is based on American agriculture, which is completely
no,
different
it's
from over
this
here in
isn't.
Scotland and even in the Netherlands.
No, so
Trophic
this is.
levels are
This
trophic
isn't.
levels everywhere.
Yeah, and also this is a study done like across the board. This isn't just in America. Like I've read
Yeah,
this
the-
paper, Joseph and Thomas Nemec.
But we're not
Yeah.
even taking into consideration if people are buying almond milk and that's getting shipped over in like planes and stuff.
Okay, so that. Okay, that's another point, right? Transport myth, right? Are you watching my stream?
Yeah, I'm watching my stream. Sorry, I can push the talk because I'll mute myself afterwards.
No, you're good. You're good. Let me. Right, I'll just send it in chat. But the study I sent you before, I'll show you before, that already includes transport as well.
Silva, I put it on my screen so you can look it there.
Well, I mean, I've already got up as well, but so transport, it's a myth, right? Transport is incredibly efficient in the sense of like shipping is the majority of food transport, and shipping is incredibly efficient, right? It's actually more inefficient to like transport like beef from your local slaughterhouse than it is to buy ship. That's how more inefficient it is.
Hold on, you're telling me it's more efficient for me to buy almond milk shipped from America than to have local milk sourced here?
Yeah. It sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy.
I'm all an absolute bull on that.
There's no way.
There's absolutely no way. And like,
No
like, almonds are farmed in California. Are you crazy?
It takes 80 gallons of water to grow an almond.
Also, I don't know about the product itself. I was just talking about transportation. I'm more
Buy local. No matter where I am, I buy local.
why?
I don't understand. Wait. I don't understand what the whole point is. We already know from the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that a plant-based diet considerably reduces the footprint that each individual chooses to adopt. So I think that's
saying that creating and shipping across the world is more efficient than me going down the road and milking a cow is crazy.
So if you look at my screen, the screen that I'm showing, guys, if you look at the screen that I'm showing, right, it's very simple. Like all the greenhouse gas emissions are like broken down, and the transport is like this tiny sliver. It's pink. Tiny sliver of food.
The water right now. It absolutely is. Like, all the Amazon workers and everything. It's a bigger issue than just veganism.
Are you in Scotland or Ireland?
I'm from Scotland.
Yeah, they're like, you're talking about a local farm where it's
Yeah, I'm talking about, I only buy local animal produce. I only buy local animal produce.
they're not like
Yeah,
America.
and look how much
They have
greenhouse gas
they
it
have
is.
farm
Look,
stores that
There's
are
nobody
outside
going
of
to
farm
greenhouse gases.
produce.
They live in fields, like surrounded by trees.
yeah, look at the land use as well. Look.
Fertilize
Let's
the
take a
soil.
peek here.
Wait, guys, could we not shout
Sorry.
at each other? Just because my ears are gonna slowly bleed.
I apologize. I'm gonna move my mic away as well. So, Maku, look at the breakdown. We have evidence, right? And this is scientific based. It's global as well. So
Yeah, but
the
the
land use.
problem is global. It's not looking at Scotland in one point, and it's also like I think
Why
every
is it
individual
not
country should be looking at themselves and what they can do to be self-sufficient.
Sorry. What do you think the greenhouse gas emissions are gonna change somehow in Scotland and are gonna be vastly different from?
No. So like, my girlfriend's Dutch, and in the Netherlands, there's two types of farms. There's the big factory farms, and which you also have in England, and they have some in Scotland, but I don't think they're very well supported. But we also have local farms, and local farms, you know where your meat comes from. You can see the cows. I know the picture that kills the fucking cow.
Why does that matter to or to like
Because it matters to the quality of life of the animal, it matters to the quality of the meat, it matters to the quality of the environment.
Well, none of that means that it's like efficient.
It's efficient and it's sustainable, and there's like government sources to say so.
Sorry, are you gonna claim that it's more efficient to eat beef in Scotland than it is to like, I don't know, eat beans?
Import soy, absolutely, yes.
Can you please provide evidence for that? Because that's an outlandish claim.
There's
reason
no more
why,
bugs
even
in
if it's
Scotland
local,
because of the amount of pesticides they have to use to produce the soy. They have to literally import bugs to Scotland.
Sorry,
Yeah, I was
excuse
going to
me.
say, we don't use
So-
pesticides in Scotland and animal
So
This
very
stuff is
specific claim
stupid,
was made
man.
That it's more efficient to eat beef than it is to eat beans in Scotland. So please provide evidence for that.
I'm just looking up now. I was looking up earlier, but then you said that we're going on a tangent. I'll try and find that source for grass-fed cows.
but do you understand that that's not scalable, right? That's not something that.
Yeah, I understand it's not scalable, but I only care about my country individually, if I'm being brutally honest. And I think the Netherlands don't do its problem. The Netherlands is good that it just ships it out all over the world.
Yeah, even countries have an environment that is specialized in making a certain kind of food, and if we can transfer minimal environmental like impact, then why not? Right? Shipping is massively like efficient, right? And so the point I get it's hard for us.
Oregon University.
Say that again?
Here's a source from Oregon University.
There's a source that they want to provide that talks about environmental stuff.
From Oregon State University. Sorry for my accent.
Okay.
I'll open it up.
Yes.
Hey, if I can, I just wanted. I read the article. I had a couple of points that I wanted to make because I'm not like opposed. I'm not ever going to go say that. I'm not saying I would be opposed to. Well, what I mean by that is like, so when I read the first article that you sent me post, that one wasn't so much of like a fact based. It was more of the person writing it and what their beliefs were on the progression of worldwide nutrition. And but the second article that a lot of those facts were deeming towards a either 100% plant-based diet or mostly plant-based. A lot of it regarding like the amount of land that will be,
pretty reputable.
yeah, the hectares of land that will be saved and stuff. One thing when I was reading is, one of the articles that I read on my own accord is just kind of going over like vegan, like the impact of the vegan lifestyle on the person itself and the environment of. So, like one of those being that on average, people who are 100% vegan require 20% more consumption of food in order to reach the same dietary needs
Sorry, it's okay.
that a normal meat-based
Hold
or
on.
meat-inclusive diet would have.
Sorry, okay. Do you realize that the study, not study, it's an article that proves the study that you produce is like compares grass-fed beef to grain-fed beef. It doesn't compare beef to beans or something like that. So you haven't substantially improved your point, your claim.
Like the measuring the shipping means over versus
So
that.
provide that study, please. Provide that.
If the study's not been done, then I can't provide it. But like,
There has been a study done on that,
I
right?
believe for 1 second that shipping beans from South America over to the UK is going to be relatively
I want evidence. You make me a
Yeah,
strong
you
claim,
say
I
there
want
isn't a
evidence.
study. You say there isn't a study done. There is a study done.
for me. I'll go and do it.
No, but look, there is a study done, right? What we were showing you, like this is a huge. This isn't a university. This is like our world in it is like a whole research organization. They're very credible, and they've done the study, and they show us that it's incredibly more efficient, right?
You're
Like,
not. You're comparing the grains-fed cows. I'm talking about pure grass-fed cows versus what you're saying.
Yeah, so what you're looking at is grass finished. There has been grass finished studies in terms of markets. So there's a marketing labels, which a grass fed is completely different than what it actually should be. So what we're talking about is grass finished, and there's actual science behind that as well.
Yeah.
and the rest is finished, right? They might like you might claim to make it like, oh yeah, it's much more like carbon neutral, even though that claim as well is a bit flimsy. It still isn't as resource efficient, right? It still takes way more land, way more water, right? It takes even more resources than like factory farming. So even then, the point about it being more efficient is just wrong.
And by the way, I have a study right
Yeah,
here.
so really, I have a couple questions.
Argue with one guy, even though there's like 20 people on the server that all
Alright.
disagree with you.
That's fair enough. You can talk to Christine about it. It's fine.
Our original point was that it's not efficient, right? It's not efficient in terms of the environment, it's not efficient in terms of just land and water use.
Well, you have your right to your opinion.
So this isn't an opinion, this is a scientific fact, right? This
No,
is
it's an
lying
opinion.
down
It's
again.
absolutely an opinion because you're comparing. You're trying to make the comparison of grass-fed cows to
yes or no? Would you like me to provide you a study that shows grass-fed animals are just as bad as
I mean,
farming
you
animals?
can drop it in the chat. I may or may not open it.
But
Um,
so you ignorance? Like, do you think you know better than saying?
I think the scientists are paid to push agendas.
So scientists are paid to
Oh my
suit
days, he's a
some
conspiracy
agendas.
theorist.
So
Yeah,
what
they
about
do it in
wait,
the tobacco industry.
Maku, hold on, Maku, do you believe in flat Earth?
No, absolutely not.
But scientists can just like
You
be paid
believe
to tell.
who committed 9/11?
Wait, this is irrelevant. Are you telling me that scientists are being paid to tell you that the globe is a circular?
Well, I do believe that the Earth is getting warmer. Whether or not that's caused by humans,
questions, Marco. I'm just wondering, can you like listen to the questions that are asked to you and answer them directly and not just adhering to another thing?
I'll ask you the question again, right? Because I wanna see where we get those biases from. So Maku, was someone paid to tell you that the Earth is round? Okay. So how do we determine which science is true and which science is false?
once we can measure it.
How do we measure things?
I mean, well, people figured out that the Earth wasn't round. Nobody was paying parents or like trying to figure out that the Earth was round.
When
Yep.
one study contravenes another, when one study goes against another, and also
I can actually tell you which one's the right one. We will have to look at the hierarchy of evidence to see which one positions higher or lower in the hierarchy. Have you heard of the hierarchy of evidence?
Like first-hand evidence, second-hand evidence. Yeah, I know about that.
I understand, but I'm just asking sleepy. If you don't know what the hierarchy of evidence is, I can just quickly
No,
just
no,
throw it.
that's. I think you're misapprehending what I was trying to demonstrate. His claim is that basically that there, he's basically using a conspiratorial kind of like argument against like science, but like science doesn't actually work that way. The scientific research doesn't work that way. Scientists hit different results and they disagree with each other. And
Amen.
eventually reach consensuses and then do some more and then reach consensuses.
But we do agree people in power
I
agree
do believe that
agree
there
with
are
their opinions.
what?
We do agree that people in power hate other people that agree with their opinions.
Scientists are not in power.
No,
Wait,
I'm
wait,
not
oh,
fucking. This
I
is
think
my
Maku-
study.
very
Maku-
complex,
wait, wait,
non-
Hate
not
scientists
very-
that agree with their opinions.
in a
Yes,
relationship
you
with
have
science,
fraudulent studies, you
complex.
have
Not
fraudulent studies, you have people who pay for false data, you have people who try to manipulate science. Yes, right, agree. But because science is public and it's open to criticism, because that's how the scientific body works, right? You publish a paper and it's out there for other scientists to critique, to review, whatever, right? And so in this process of like constantly like having information out there and like only the most robust evidence is withstanding all the criticism, right? Like there is constant like misinformation from like dairy and the animal agriculture world, right? And that has fallen down, right? Only what's scientifically true has remained on top, right? So yes, there might be some data that are accurate, right? But that's why we don't look at one study. We look at the scientific consensus, right? And do you know what the scientific consensus is? That it's not environmentally friendly. That even with regenerative agriculture, it's not what's called like scalable. That we all need to use on these. It doesn't say go vegan. That's not everything. But the scientific consensus on this is very clear. It's a shift towards plant-based food system.
Yeah, right on, Silva. Right on.
Right? Even if there
You
are
know what?
some people who
I'm not even gonna bullshit. After reading the article, my shit's lagging right now. I don't need to talk over you.
Alright, go on.
I was just saying after reading the article, I don't know if you feel like what I want to is am I lagging?
Yes.
Incredibly.
Am I lagging?
You were
Yes.
lagging, but you're not interested in what
It's
you're
getting too
saying.
long.
You want to type your
Can
log?
y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is my question for you. Like, I guess morally speaking, is the only answer because from what I read, it seems like drastic meat consumption or drastic reduction in meat consumption is the probably what's going to happen at some point. Maybe not in my lifetime, but at some
These
point
people just keep going
that's
in
going to happen
circles, man. I'm
because
about to leave this
of the
soon. I can't do this much longer. I
agricultural
gotta sleep.
uses as well as the resource advantages, like y'all were saying. And I didn't actually know that. So looking at that, that was interesting. But what I did see is that it didn't say full stop meat. So is there like a medium ground? Because what they were kind of talking about in the article, at least, was that small small animals like chicken and forget what the other one was that they used. A small farm animal are way less impactful on the environment and land consumption. So is there a line where, in a perfect world, let's say, maybe living in a world where governments actually give a shit about people and animals equally, that we could reduce
I spelled that wrong.
like take away maybe cow, veal, and something, whatever the other major
Oh man, that doesn't sound too real.
livestock is, and through government means or whatever, have forced moral treatment of livestock, like small livestock. So you still get to go, let's say, 90% plant-based, and then there's still because I feel like you can kill an animal and still respect it in the same use, right?
How can
If
you?
that makes sense, like you can use the whole animal. So that's what I'm saying. Is there a moral middle ground between people that like to eat meat and maybe will not ever give up meat, but
Can I?
like
Can I?
me,
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it would be ever moral to kill animals if we have lab-grown meat?
no. So this is what I'm saying. In a perfect world, right? Hypothetical. Which I don't know if we can ever get to this point, but let's cross fingers, right? That's I think ultimately the point of debating or conversating with anybody about any topic like this is to find a solution, right? Or to hopefully get closer to a solution, whether it's even just in your own mind. So for me, after reading the article, I'm thinking, okay, so maybe we don't eat beef or lamb or whatever, but maybe we still are able to eat chicken because it provides us the necessary proteins, but then everything else we get from plants because it is reasonable.
What if you
Is
Sorry.
don't
there,
eat? What if you don't eat those proteins?
well, I mean, you're getting them from somewhere. You have to
Yeah.
get them from
Right.
somewhere. So yeah,
Right.
but what I'm saying though is that at least from what I read in the article,
Yeah.
that they
Well,
don't
it's
see
not that
it
bad.
being
We'll see
feasible
what
to
they're gonna
go
say next.
completely plant-based across the entire globe. Because in order to feed everybody on the globe is constantly growing the population of human beings rapidly. You need people would need to eat on average 20% more just food in general, like not meat. Just you'd have to consume 20% more food. So what I'm saying is, at least from what I read, right, that they are focusing on more of a meat reduction solution. So is that outside of the moral grounds for y'all? As far as like, let's say, like I said, you're living in a perfect world where you could go and see these chickens are raised perfectly open, free range, natural inseminate, like they do their own thing, and then just like when it's time, it's time, right?
Yeah. So
And then we can
sorry,
respect
sorry,
them.
sorry. You've been filibustering a little bit. Can we now get to the
Yeah, go.
debunking your
Yeah.
your ask questions? I guess not debunking. That would be the
Well,
wrong.
yeah. No, I'm
You are
asking where
actually
y'all
asking.
stand on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, morally speaking, I think it's always wrong to breed insentient animals just to slaughter them for food. I think even on the factual level, there is a misunderstanding here. So, a plant-based diet, 100% plant-based diet, will be always more efficient, more environmentally friendly. Even if you like ship things from one place to another, it's always, always, always going to be more environmentally friendly than raising animals for food. Because you have to also like raise feed to then feed to those animals. You're proposing a middle ground that's going to be more environmentally degradating, right? The second thing you said, well, people, if everybody went plant-based, people would need to eat 20% more, right? So I have on my screen here a proposal of what would happen if the entire world went vegan. So right now we're using I don't know 704 megahectares. So it's very much for plant feed, right? And then 548 megahectares for animal feed, and then 2.89 billion for animals who are raised, right? If everybody went vegan, we would reduce the amount of agricultural land by 75%, and that's counting that we were going to have to feed all the humans in the world more plants, basically. And it even reduces the cropland by 200 megahectares.
Greenhouse phenomenon.
Let's talk to other people.
Well, you also, at least from the article I read, you're not going to be able to use a lot of the farmland that are used for cattle that
Yeah,
you would, like, you
my
couldn't
point.
use
That's
them
my
the same
point
way as
though.
crops.
That's my point though,
So
because
we wouldn't, so what I, well,
hold on,
and
hold
this
on,
is
hold
like
on,
the,
hold on. I understood the point. Sorry, hold on. So that's my point. I just made my point. So even if everybody went plant-based, even the cropland is going to be reduced to 1 billion hectares from 1.2 billion hectares. So we don't need more land. We need less, and not just like
rewild of like freed up land. Like right now we are deforesting to like make more like 250 ranch. If we were in a completely carbon system, we would have so much more freedom. It wouldn't matter if we had some land that we weren't like on the hill, we weren't utilizing, because we would have fixed
so
it.
even in the, yeah, so even in the article that y'all are referencing, they're not saying that they're trying to go 100% plant-based in that article. That is not what the general consensus is.
people like you. It doesn't matter. Just hear this article, and I can
It's
link
not
it to
trying
you.
to appease. That's the one I'm reading. That's the one y'all sent me as your evidence.
Who's this?
The one that you sent me, Silver.
I sent like a couple. Sorry, man.
No, I only saw one. The one that she's reading off of, the usage of hectares and yeah, they're proposing the idea of a massive meat reduction use, yeah, but not completely. Not completely. Even the scientists that y'all are referencing are not trying to, they don't think it's feasible. So
I agree
you know
with what
saying?
the data says, right? I think that is the dimension, but I think it makes more sense just to make sure that everyone understands that we need to move in that direction. Like once we get to that point, we can then start discussing. Okay, like is there even more point in even more efficiency? But I think like what we're trying to say is like just from the logic we have for right now, we know that moving away from like a lifestyle moving towards a very very plant system is the more efficient thing, right?
Okay,
And
so
you're trying to
well,
argue how
yeah, and
much.
I'm not trying to argue. I'm actually, there's no argument because the
Sorry,
facts, the
yeah,
facts are just.
I don't mean arguing as in like antagonizing you. I just meant like make the point.
Well, I'm just trying to like what I think. I feel like should be compromise should be the goal, right? Compromise. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I don't think if you go if you go
compromise on moral atrocity with friendly, right?
because morality is subjective. That's one thing. Morality, your moral compass points differently than mine. And that's not to say that your moral compass is more right than the people that farm animals. You don't know that
Please
person.
enlighten me on your morality. How is it moral to kill a sentient being when you don't have to?
Well, I asked this question earlier and I didn't really get an answer, right? Like, where is the line for what you deem okay to kill. Because I'm sure, like I said earlier, you kill flies or bugs or gnats.
Yeah, or like the necessity, second energy burn.
I walk around and there's flies. I don't kill them if I don't have to. But my point is, like, where's
Yeah, vegans don't either. Vegans don't either.
I mean, but you do sometimes. So what I'm saying is, like, where's the line?
No, we don't.
You never kill flies or any bugs or mosquitoes.
What the fuck? I
You
killed
never
a
slept with a arm.
Non-invasive insects, right? Invasive, like insects. We've already had
What
this
makes
discussion,
them
like mosquitoes. Well, they're invasive. They carry disease.
That's not always the case. Yeah,
They're
sure. Okay, but
passive.
what about like just your least favorite bug or your least favorite? I mean,
Why?
my point is,
No,
where's
why
your
would you
where's
kill
the
somebody
line?
who's not bothering
Yeah, I
you?
don't think
Why?
vegans have like that, right? In fact,
Well,
I've seen
from
the
what I
opposite.
don't believe. If you're trying to tell me that y'all have never killed a bug in your life, that's a lie. So what I'm asking you, where's the moral standing? Where do you stop? Where do you say this animal is okay to kill because it's annoying me, but this animal isn't okay to kill, and everybody that kills it or eats it is evil? That to me is a crazy distinction that you have to make. You know, like, because to me, if you're saying that all these things are living and all of them deserve to live, you shouldn't ever kill anything, including plants. I mean, plants.
Are you done?
Go ahead.
Okay. Your assumption that vegans kill insects when they're annoying is wrong. Like you don't kill insects.
Everybody
It's fair that you believe this, but like you're gonna have to like every single vegan I know, this is my experience. It has made me this, right? This isn't something we can argue. This is your opinion, this is mine. And I would say my opinion, as just knowing other vegans and myself, like we don't really care about them enough to be annoyed by them.
Okay, well, let's stick to being annoyed by it. The simple question is, where, what animal kingdom is the line drawn? That's the simple question.
We don't value by species. We value by sentience, and we value like if it's even necessary to kill them, right?
Sure,
If
but
there
what I'm
is
saying is like the
necessity to
moral
kill them, why?
obligation, right? The moral obligation is the thing, right? The morality of it. But where does the morality stop? With what? Like, when are you like? Because
I just told you it's not species based. It's not species based.
Then what? Okay, but we still got the question. Tell me what animal or what thing is okay to kill
It's not dodging the question. He's
because of.
telling you your question is unintelligent. It doesn't
These are
apply
It's
to
not
vegan.
intelligent.
Answer his
Dude,
question.
Maybe let me answer it differently. Okay, let me answer. It's sentient.
Answer his question.
I am. You don't interrupt me. Right? It's sentient, so that means some animals have different levels of sentience. Right? Like some animals, like mollusks, like some like cloisters, they don't have any sentience, right? So I wouldn't consider them, right? Most animals have sentience, and so I will care about their suffering.
But
But
what
it's
I'm
not.
saying,
So it's
yeah.
not
So,
species
but
based.
where?
It's not
Okay,
animal
so
based.
are you
It's sentience based.
saying that sentience based? But there's, I think, the only known species that have no sentience is like algae.
Lagging out.
Yeah, you back
Are
to
we going to
Robert.
talk about bacteria? So what's your point?
Bacteria don't have sentience.
Just trying to pick a point, you know.
Our point is, if an individual can have a subjective experience and can suffer, can feel happiness, then they probably want to live just as
Even
much as
protozoa. No, what I was, if from, okay, then too much. What I'm saying is, so plants are matters, so you have a sentience, not the same as the animal sentience, but very similar. Yeah, I have the article right here.
Yeah,
please
I can send it to you,
okay,
man.
wait.
They have.
Even
They
before
have.
you send me,
I'll show it.
wait, listen. Even before you send me the article, I can know what it says, right? It's probably gonna say plants are screaming, right? And the article, which isn't
No,
scientific,
no, no.
I'd rather have the study, right? And I've read the study as well. The study about plant pain. It's not even pain. They don't even feel pain. It's just stimulus response, right? They call
Yeah,
plants
stimulus.
pain. Yeah,
Because
that
it's
is
not organic, it's not
yeah. That's like
But they are. But they. Plants are aware.
aware in the sense that they are
Plants can seem
sentient.
pretty aware. That seems pretty aware to me.
Yeah, yeah, okay, so they are
Plants
aware
are
in the
aware,
sense that
and
they're
plants
aware
use
in
science.
like plants
When
don't
you
feel
speak
pain.
of them being completely aware, they have no
Yeah.
central nervous system whatsoever, not
So
even
sentience.
Okay, look, this
sen-
article right here. This is
I'm,
exactly what.
I'm against eating meat, but if you see the example of these trees in the Amazon, they are all connected very easily.
That
I'm
doesn't mean it's sentient. Oh my
not
god.
saying it's
So
sentient. I'm
Just
just
Okay,
saying
but
just
okay,
because
but
my
they
wife
have
doesn't
a
have
okay,
a
but
connection.
brain.
So
I
My phone
guess
is
just
connecting to my Wi-Fi. Doesn't mean that I don't distinguish between sentient or
wait,
you
if
have
you
more
feed
of
me,
work.
so wait,
look, let me
said that
just read
plant.
this.
So he has a point that if you feed the plant,
This
the
article.
plant would
Okay.
react, doesn't want to be
but
finished.
that's a genetic coding, right? Like what this is
Yes,
what sentience means, right? Sentience means that you experience
I
something
know.
and you're able to like analyze that experience and do something differently based on that experience, right? Plants,
Yeah, but
they don't
so
do that,
this,
right? They have it in their DNA. That if they get cut and then I go again with scissors, they can't avoid it or anything. They're gonna get cut again, right? They don't have that kind of awareness where it's something that they can act upon, right? And that's what
they
sentience
can move.
means, right? That's what subjective experience means.
I know.
Really
I'm just
slowly
saying that
around things,
he has
though,
But
and
this
they
is
he has
often
a
they move
point
both ways.
to a degree, because this complex of trees in the Amazon, they they communicate
It's
um,
not
under
sentient.
under
Again,
the
my
inner
phone is
structure, right?
communicating with my
Right.
Wi-Fi.
So
It's
Let's
not
let
okay.
let,
sentient.
let him
Just
finish.
real quick, as a moderator, this is
Your
completely
phone can't
irrelevant.
do anything by
Okay,
itself.
Wizard, Shep, FF, let's get back to the original point because this is a waste of time, especially talking to someone
Yeah,
who
we're
actually
gonna
has.
yes,
Cool.
plants do to a tree because
Okay.
that's not.
Sorry, but
Silver, can you send me Universe? I thought you were sending an article that shows that plants feel conceal or whatever. Are you not
well,
good
it's
putting it in
what
the
it
chat?
says is I'll send it
I'd
to
like to
you.
make a
Yeah,
point
I'll send it to you. Yeah,
this,
I'll
this,
hold on.
You can just put it in the chat. I think you
What it
can put
says
links
though
in
is
the
that
chat.
both
just paste the link in the chat. You're lagging as well.
animals and plants are. Well, let me ask you. So, okay. Well, what this article is saying is that scientists are considering both animals, bacteria, and animals are conscious, scientifically conscious, which I would say crosses a moral line. If you're talking about, I mean, you can say the difference between sentience and consciousness, but I would say a conscious being is, you know, basically the same thing as a sentient.
well,
So,
I have something to weigh in here. So, consciousness is probably the most burgeoning field of science right now. There's scientists
Yeah.
all over the world right now who are digging really hard into consciousness. It's like the next wave of research. So, there's a lot to be learned here. I've read several really interesting books recently on trees, specifically, and there's a lot of interesting communication that they make, sure, but somebody brought up a point. Yet they don't have a central nervous system.
Mhm.
They do communicate. It has been scientifically observed that
It's genetic
mother
program.
trees will trade hydrocarbons with their offspring, and they can actually distinguish their offspring through mycelial networks in the ground. They can sense hydrocarbons through mycelial networks. It's fascinating science. It does not equate to sentience. It does not equate to subjective experience of the world. Their responses are chemical responses to stimulus, which is very different from nervous responses. I mentioned once in this panel a book called Determined by Robert Sapolsky. He's a neuroscientist at Stanford University and professor of neurosurgery. He studied several different species to understand how neurons work, and specifically because neurons are very similar from every organism that we observe neurons in, and we don't observe neurons in plants. And neurons are one of the type of cell required for sentience, and that's really what it comes down to. If you break it down to the cellular level, the cells that trees have, yes, they do some really sophisticated don't have the cells required for sentience.
What I'm saying though is that they are considered scientifically conscious, just like even bacteria are. Yeah, no, that's true.
No,
It's
no,
in
no,
that
no,
article.
no,
I
no,
can see
no.
that the eyes are conscious, so like whatever. We will treat to be conscious at this point.
On point, that's point. Okay, so let's even just go to the hypothetical.
Sorry?
So then you would, as a vegan, let's say in 5 years, then a bunch of research on now what?
Well, no,
still-
you would
it's
still
still
need
the
science because it's the least amount of sentient life that you could kill because you feed plants to animals. It's the trophic level. So we would still be vegan.
Okay, but so then it's just about the least amount of sentience.
It could become
This
the
is
least
what I'm
amount
saying.
of
Always
Like the
about
moral
that.
line
Always,
here is
yeah.
real gray.
No, it's
become
always
that.
sentience. We've always said from the beginning that what we value is sentience.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying.